r/AskReddit by Reddify. Neighbor sued me after harassing my dog for months. Lost horribly. Several commenters telling me that you guys would enjoy this story. About 6 or 7 months ago, my neighbor got a drone. I don't mind people having hobbies, but for some reason he insisted on flying like the biggest jerk possible. He would hover in front of other houses and windows, try to race cars going down the road, and worst of all, he had a habit of flying his drone in my fenced backyard, buzzing over my dog, diving low just over my dog's head, before circling around to do it again. My dog isn't small. He's about 70 pounds and a Malamute, but the drone terrified him, and I was worried what would happen if it hit him. I asked my neighbor several times to please not fly in my yard, and explained that it was scaring my dog. He basically told me to get lost, and laughed in my face when it still continued. I called the police. Unfortunately, there wasn't much they could do other than ask him to please not fly over my house/property. Finally, in late December it happened. My dog got tired of his hit and managed to catch the drone right as it was diving towards him. He shredded the drone. The thing was just a jumbled mess of wires and plastic. Neighbor was pissed. He stormed over to my house swearing and threatening me, which I ignored. A week later, I got a summons to small claims court. He wanted $900 for the cost of his drone and an additional $300 for supposedly denying him access to his property. The drone sat in my yard for a couple hours before it was retrieved. Duck that. He could have killed my dog. I don't have kids or a girlfriend. I just have my dog, who is my best friend for the past 7 years. That dog has moved with me 3 times. Was there when I graduated college. Saw me buy my first house and my first new car. I love my dog. Went to legal advice. Got some great help from them. Turns out, him suing me was the best thing to ever happen. When we got to small claims court, the judge basically laughed away his claims that I had intentionally trained my dog to attack his drone. But little did he know I was prepared. I had dozens of photos of my yard showing it was impossible for him to accidentally fly that low to my dog. Videos of him harassing my dog in the past. And I had saved all my medical bills from taking my dog to the vet. $700 for an X-ray, check. Another $250 to sedate him during? Why not? Don't want him being uncomfortable. Full dental exam with tooth cleaning/repair? $400. Then there was the cost of anti-anxiety meds and a secondary checkup. Wet food for a week in case his teeth were hurt. And extra just for good measure. In the end, the asshole ended up owing me almost $2,000. And now is being investigated by the FAA for not having a registered drone and violating several FAA regulations concerning drone flight. Too near an airport. Too close to other people. Out of sight of operator and way above the maximum altitude. Enjoy never being allowed to fly drones again. Ike. Watch out for that asshole. He might try the poisoned meat hit. Let your dog out of the yard. Or take the dog out of the yard. If you're not watching, make sure to put a security camera on your fence and be in the yard or watching anytime your dog is out. I'm a drone pilot and enthusiast, and people like this guy are the absolute worst for a growing industry that's generally trying to promote an image of safety, with an emphasis on communication and education. Any drone pilot who's done any amount of basic training/research will never fly close to any neighboring houses, animals, or in any antagonistic manner that endangers or harasses anyone. It really just takes one guy to make it look bad for everyone. Screw that guy. He got what he deserved. And I'm glad your dog is okay. Edit, a word. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. As mentioned in the /r/legaladvice thread, please be very careful leaving your dog alone in the backyard for the next few years. It is unfortunately all too common for irritated neighbors to lace a bone or fresh meat with a poisonous substance. Keep a close eye on your dog. Neighbor thought it was fun to harass him in the first place. He probably blames you and your dog for the consequences of his actions, and may try to hurt/poison/kill your dog in retaliation. No amount of suing him/putting him in jail for doing that will bring back your pupper, so be careful. He sounds deranged and really dumb. What an awful human being who buzzes a dog. So happy for your dog that he destroyed it. said to him it was just this weird flying that's coming to terrorize him, but in the end he overcame his fear and took it down. He was probably chuffed with himself. You should give him a big steak or something. I wonder what the distribution curve of douchebaggery for drone owners would be. Would it be normal? Would this guy be an outlier kinda like the guy that got all those awesome drone photos of the Taj Mahal, just on the other end of the scale? That's brilliant. What was his reaction? How has he been since the case? Great story. Can we get a picture of your doggo? Good for you. Anyone ducks with my dog? That's it. I got a bunch of hitty looks at a family birthday party one year because I screamed at this sneaky little douche who kept trying to run my dog over with her Barbie Jeep. I regret nothing. Good hit. You should use some of the money to get yourself a cheap drone. Fly it around your house a bit when you know your neighbor is watching. Just do it by the book. Register it and everything. But that might be a little far. You don't want to goad him too much. It's clear he's not playing with a full deck. Number who is a good boy? Number op is a good boy. I would move. I've known too many evil, vindictive psychos to believe he won't try to retaliate in some dark way. So please the court found in your favor. I saw your original post in legal advice and was really happy about the update. Hope that's the end of it now. And then, my son. A few days after his wife died, you steal his car and kill his ducking dog. He hasn't hurt the dog yet, but it's time to go John Wick on his ass. Preemptively. Mind your dog, dude. Petty people like that will do terrible things like throw food in your yard laced with something that will kill him. I won't post what he could use because stupid and awful people will be inspired. But trust me, people are low. Spiteful people are worse. FAA violations can cost $5, 0.00 or more. Take this one step further and buy yourself a drone, but fly responsibly with it in your backyard while stressing what a good time you're having. Good hit. What an immature Ike. It's not your fault he was trespassing with a drone, using it to invade your privacy and terrorize your dog. Take that crap to a park or a field somewhere. He'd get exactly one verbal warning before I put together a Cotonet launcher and started knocking his hit out of the sky. I think I just saw you over at Legal Advice on the front page. Small world. Better watch out for him poisoning your dog. Try throwing a poison-laced drone over to his side of the fence. Beautifully done. I'm going to second the security camera because this guy sounds like he would be that kind of asshole to hurt your dog out of spite. Had I been following this in legal abyss, duck that asshole. Him suing you was the second best thing to happen to you, behind getting your doggy. Enjoy never being allowed to fly drones again. Ike, you should get a drone now and rub it in further by flying it responsibly in plain sight every weekend. As a drone enthusiast, this story just makes me so angry. People like this jerk flying his drone like that are the reason that the public hates them. I'm happy to hear the drone guy lost big time. Honestly, what's wrong with people? I'm glad you were able to win in the end. I know how hitty this kind of situation can be. We used to have a roommate who apparently didn't like my other roommate's cat. He was told that if he had a problem with the cat, like if it was chewing on stuff or just being a nuisance, to just let any of us know and we will come up with a solution. Well, a few months later, and we find what looks like salt in the cat's food. We question everyone in the house. The guy who doesn't like the cat claims that he might have made a mess when he was cooking chili and just didn't see it in there. The food bowl was approximately 5 feet from the nearest counter and there were no signs that any mess had been made and cleaned up at all. Mostly because there were still quart herbs on the counter from the day before. We call him out on this. He gets pissed and at the end of it, or so we thought, his retaliation was to put mouse traps by his stuff in the living room. Needless to say, we find this, luckily before anything happened, and get super pissed off. We again confront him, and he honestly saw nothing wrong with this. He thought that it would just be like a slap on the paw. The cat's owner basically lost it at that point. He called the guy a psychopath and said that if he so much as touched the cat, that he can expect to be sued. Luckily the guy moved out shortly after. and I haven't seen him since. Sorry for the long post. It's been a while since I could get this off my chest. Make sure that you check your yard for a while before you let the dog out. An asshole like that could throw poison beef into your yard to kill your dog. No offense to you, but thank God I don't have anybody like that living next to me. Most of my neighbors are awesome. Our kids are friends. We barbecue together 4th of July. Good times. I'm glad you won.